All right, welcome to Introductory Performance Seminar. It is May 20th at 4:30 p.m. We're gonna jump on in. All right, so, and here's our second person. Welcome to Performance Seminar. Go ahead and jump in. We'll start with Surya. So go ahead, introduce yourself, introduce your piece.
Hi, my name is Surya and I'm going to be playing the first page of Minuet in E minor.
Okay. Great. Nice job. Nice job. Okay. All right. So, at what was one thing you feel like you did really well with, and one thing you could improve on?
I think I did well with keeping an overall flow of the notes. One thing I can improve on is making sure I can connect the rhythms together or the melodies together.
Okay. Nice. All right. Good observation. Good insight. All right. We will come back and talk about this stuff a little bit more at the end of class, but for now, we're just gonna keep going. All right. Nope. This is the wrong person. What is going on? Hang on. I'm so sorry, guys. All right. Siddharth, which work? Go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce your piece.
My name is Siddharth and I'm going to play miniature sonatina. Oh. Um, Wait, what? Wait, what?
Remember the left hand shifts. Very nice. Okay. What's one thing you feel like you did really well with, and one thing you feel like you could improve?
I think I did really well with
What do
like
you
I think I did good with like playing the right notes, and I think I could improve on the rhythm.
Okay, good insight. Okay. Okay, so you guys both had some really different pieces. There were some things that were similar though. So the first thing I want to talk about, maybe, if it will actually cooperate with me today. So I want to talk about how we're practicing and how to work on our movements, right? All right, so for Surya's piece, we have this movement here, right? Which puts us into a kind of a stable position here. And then we are stretching there, and then we're in stable here, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here, and that's stable, then this is stable, then that's stable. All right, now, as we're practicing, obviously we're gonna probably practice this line pretty much by itself, right, Surya? Is that kind of how you've been working on it? That's good. That's a good thing. You can go ahead and unmute yourselves. We're gonna have kind of a discussion for a second. But typically, we have kind of a stopping point, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what we can do is we can go, okay, so normally I'm playing from here to here, and then from here to here, right? Or whatever section to whatever section. So we want to practice kind of this in-between part. So let's try this, Surya. Just the left hand. Let's go slower with that and do that a couple times. Oh, is your original sound still on?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to build that up, right? So Dr. Eileen likes to call those the joints of the piece, or like where the two pieces fit together, right? They tend to be weaker than every other place because they're kind of like stuck, right? We don't really practice over them a whole bunch. So what I would recommend with this piece is going through and finding where those parts are where we haven't practiced over that. Does that make sense? And I don't just mean playing through the whole page, because we can do that a whole bunch, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we're practicing those kind of in between parts, right? So I like to go right before the end of the phrase or the end of the section, and then right after the end of the section or the beginning of the section. Does that make sense? And work on that. So that's my feedback for this. And then just kind of, how long have you been working on this?
A few weeks, I think.
Okay. Not bad, not bad. Do you have it printed? You do? Okay. You might talk to your professor and maybe write in some of the sharps or flats, the flats for this piece. Because I think, what's that?
I marked all the sharps and flats down.
Okay, nice. Okay. Then in that case, I would go in smaller sections and just kind of work it over and over and over, then work on that in between sections. But really nicely done, really nicely done. Give yourself a round of applause. All right, start. Let's jump over to your piece. So kind of similar to what we talked about with Surya's piece. Oh, give it a second. I just gotta move over. I don't know what's going on today. It's being really slow. Okay. So we have some pretty intense movements here, right? With this one. Okay. So, do you have this piece printed off or no?
No.
No? Okay. That's all right. So let's do this. Let's practice this. Do we know what this little symbol means?
No.
No, okay. That's all right. So this is a symbol that means shift. Okay. So, for example, imagine that this is my head and this is my piano. Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to be sitting that close, but just pretend for a second. Okay. So we can write a little arrow that goes this way. That means to shift our hand that way on the piano, right? We can have one that goes this way. That means we're shifting that way. And then we have two more. Actually, it might be helpful for Surya with your piece. And that is this one, which tells us that we're going to a sharp or a flat because we're shifting forward with our hand. And this one, which means we're shifting that way, which means we're going from playing a black key to playing a white key. So either we're going to a natural or just not sharp and flat. Does that make sense? Okay. So start. We're going to play just this second line, just the first two measures. So from here to here, and we're going to really focus on that movement of this left hand. Okay. So we're shifting up. Our thumb right now is here. And we want to move so that our third finger is there. Does that make sense? All right, let's try just this part. Nice. How'd that feel?
Good.
Good. Let's try it without looking at our fingers. Ooh, that's tricky.
Um.
I saw you peek. That was much better. That was really good. Good job. All right. All right. Let's play from here to here. So we're in that new hand position, and then our left hand is going to shift back down. So instead of our third finger being here, we're going to move it back to where it's our thumb, okay? It's our middle finger on this G.
Wait.
Go slow.
Um. Wait. Wait there.
That was really good, really good. So just like we talked about with Surya's piece, remember how we talked about those in-between sections? This one's kind of an extra tricky one because not only is it kind of in between, so we don't normally practice from here to like here. It's also a movement, which makes it extra tricky, right? So I would definitely recommend talking to your teacher about how to practice that, okay? And the way I would do it again is I would literally just play these two notes and then these two notes. Even though this one's tied, I would still play it for practice. Um, but that's kind of what I would recommend. You guys both did really fantastic. So good job. Any questions? Any answers? I'm just kidding. Have a wonderful rest of your day then, okay?